Go on with it, but go on with it. Blessings all for my life, man. My thank God for the journey, the earnings, and just for the plus. Gratitude is a must. See blessings fall by my right hand.
Oh, baby. Hey, you okay? You woke up screaming.
Did I?
Yeah.
Is this thing on? I know it's been a while. Hi guys! Look! Alright. You know me, you know this episode wasn't doing nothing for me until the very end. But I have to say, I didn't know what I was going to do for this video. I felt like it was definitely going to be more laid back, boring. Like I wasn't even going to try to edit nothing either. I was all about that dumb. I was like, okay, Tyler Perry's not trying. Why should I? You know, to dust off my commentary skills a little bit, okay? And just to say, if you hear my dog in the background, thank you for the ambient barking. But the last 2 seconds of this episode did it for me. Of course, I'm gonna be complaining and going on as I usually do. And you know what? That's a good thing. I feel like everything cannot be positive, everything cannot be negative. There has to be some good things. But I think the last scene was needed for me to at least enjoy the show enough to be like, okay, I can wait for next week's episode, you know? Anyways, disclaimers, these are just characters. We are not saying anything about the actors themselves at all. We're talking about the themes, the character writing, the story, the lore, all right? And you know what? Tyler, you still don't know what you're doing. You still don't know. You didn't outsmart anybody. Didn't outsmart me, okay? So, sorry if I'm shouting, okay? You should prefer this because I was about to sound so lackadaisical before. Anyways, just to start with a random scene. When light-skinned detective was talking to Andy, I don't remember his name. FBI nigga, it's called FBI Ninja, was talking to Andy. And, you know, him and his cop buddy were being very misogynistic. I didn't get it. Here's why, right? I'm currently watching 911, the show 911, and I appreciate how we don't get ridiculous scenes like the ones that we get here. This is not to say that misogyny, we're not saying those things don't happen. But for so many shows to paint it like misogyny comes in this form, like it's super blatant and it's out there and it's in your face, that's not how it is all the time. Sometimes it's like behind the scenes. You might have women who are okay with that level of massage because they don't see it as misogyny. You know what I mean? So I would have preferred if they were going to show that, do it in a way that like some of your viewers get tricked. You know, we have to look inward as a viewer, like, okay, why were we on the FBI guy's side when he was saying some of this stuff? Maybe because of the way he said it. But instead, you're just like calling all of Andy's friends like B's and O's and like whatever. The disrespect was weird because here's the thing, right? We all know that Andy's friends didn't have nothing to do with it. We know that, right? But the way that they were questioning, and you know how I feel like Andy's acting is terrible. So them acting like, oh my God, why were you with Gary? Why did you leave Jordan for Gary? Why did you? I'm like, okay, I got on her friends for not catching what was going on because, you know, they're supposed to know her better than this. But you guys are on the same level because you guys are detectives. Why couldn't you guys just be like, you were just there with her, she was going to testify against Gary, and now all of a sudden she's marrying him. Don't you think maybe he did it to her under duress? Maybe so? You know? Okay. They were just dumb this whole episode, and it made it hard to watch. Yes, there were some funny moments that they had, but I just thought they were stupid, and it was annoying me. Um, I guess we can bring up Danny's interrogation right now, because it's popping up in my head. I thought it was annoying at first that she was smoking in there. Tyler, why do you have to do her character like this? It's been, guys, when I talk about them negatively, I need you guys to understand that it's been 7 years. It's been 6 to 7 years now. This is season 8. 6 to 7 years I've been watching this show for. Okay? And before you say, well, why don't you just stop? Well, this last 2 seconds are carrying me through on the wings. The fumes of the last seconds of me caring are being carried through right now, but also because analytics, all right? A lot of people, or, by comparison, right, watch my sister's videos more than other types of videos. I'll make videos about other shows, about random movies. They won't get the viewership that Sistas does. And trust me, I would love to just stop talking about this show and never having to watch it again a day in my life. But this is the content that's more likely to blow up and get a couple views. You know what I mean? I wanted to talk about Danny because I just feel like it's been so long, and I'm watching the show for such a long time. All of these women should not be having the same issues still. It doesn't make any sense. It's been way too long. And that's why I wanted to read to you guys the synopsis of Sistas, just so we can get back to brass tacks and you guys understand what the show is supposed to be about. Okay? Sistas. Summary. A group of single black females from different walks of life who bond over their one common thread. Why am I single? Let's talk about that, right? I might make a whole video about this, and I've made videos around this topic before, but this is why I can't handle the Gary stuff, the mafia stuff, even some of Fatima's stuff, if we're being honest. It just doesn't fit into the theme, right? I've watched a lot of shows in the hiatus period that I wasn't on this channel, one of which being Soul Food. That had a very similar premise. A bunch of sisters who have to band together after their mother died, going through their family and relationship issues. Yes, there was a bit of gangster booze and people almost getting shot, somebody could die, but it worked within the realm of the story, right? And one thing, even though Soul Food was annoying a lot of the time, what did make sense in Soul Food was the dynamic that the sisters had, even though that could also be annoying, how we got to see each of their jobs, what they were doing with their lives, and how that's all I wanted for Sistas. That's all I want. You know what I mean? Let me be honest with y'all. I don't think Danny has changed. Not in a way that's super substantial to me. Like her smoking in the interrogation room, like, girl, what is that? We're just lucky that she was being so reckless and honest that the FBI ninja decided that, yeah, she didn't do it because she's way too reckless. And notice that Danny was the only woman who didn't get misogynized. Like, can we discuss that? The one who was acting the most ghetto, the most ratchet, the most crazy, the most unstable. The one who wasn't holding her head high, holding herself together, being whatever we would call bougie and full of herself. That was the one that the FBI agent respected, to the point where Danny said, we can call each other on a first name basis. Like, they had somewhat of a rapport by the end of it. You see what they respect, right? I'm not even going to get any deeper into that. To quickly go into the nonsense that we don't care about, the boys. Rich, what's up? You want to fight? You want to fight, Rich? Don't make me come for you. It's crazy how he was the most likable out of the new ninjas. You guys remember what I was saying? I didn't like any of them but Rich, because I was hoping that this would be Sabrina's salvation. But he's talking too reckless, too fruity. The side of his neck is way too open. Close it. Oh, he disgusted me this episode. And he was so fake around Sabrina. Like, Oh my god. He's so dumb. Sabrina comes back after being interrogated. Obviously, with her countenance, even without the bank robbery thing, I think she will still have an issue with that. What's wrong? Huh? What do you think is wrong, Richard? She was just interrogated by the FBI. Just okay, because, you know, they let her walk out. Just so dumb. I just can't. On to happier news, though. Hayden is trying to flee the country. And he got halted by Tamara. It was hilarious. I was just laughing the whole time I saw him packing and trying to get out of here. He's like, well, I think got what he deserved. I was laughing because I'm like, okay, Hayden. Okay. You guys know Hayden is a source of happiness for me. He's dumb, but he's dumbness that makes sense. Let's be honest, no villain in the show should be more of a threat than Hayden. In terms of like the slice of life stuff that this show is supposed to be giving us, Hayden should be the top tier villain. I know technically Gary shows to be top tier villain, like the abusive boyfriend who's rich, but he's talking about mafia and selling drugs and Ponzi scheming, and they just took his plot way too far. So technically, before the big plot change or plot additions, it should have been Gary. But honestly, I don't want craziness more than Hayden. Hayden's amount of craziness makes sense for the show. Anything above Hayden is just doing too much. It's going into mafioso territory, and it should be reserved for the Oval, not Sistas. I respect that Tony wasn't trying to completely trash on Andy. I'll give him that and I'll leave it alone. We'll bring him back up when we get to Danny's second section. Now, let's get into the rest of the interviews, right? Sabrina was not feeling it and she walked out. Not much to say there, right? Because who cares? Like, Sabrina's one of the most innocent people in the show, but it doesn't really matter. Karen, she just can't catch a break. And mind you, I don't even like Karen, but I can see that, like, what does Pam's stuff have to do with her? You see, the fact that it's even plausible that Pam's stuff would be entrenched with her is why I can understand why she was upset with Pam. Like, girl, Pam, let me not get pissed off with Pam. It's been months, I don't care anymore. Fatima, funny, hilarious. Of course, the guy. This is what I was talking about. Fatima. Let's go into Fatima, right? So, Fatima is there. She's holding her own. The guy is impressed with how well she can hold her own, saying that she looks like she has more sense than the others, which, dang, all tea, all shade. But he says something that annoys me because Tyler Perry has been doing this more flagrantly in his shows. At first I thought it was just him trying to be self-aware and then flipping on us later. You know that thing he does where he literally breaks the fourth wall and calls out the tropes that we talk about or calls out the plots that we don't like. But now I realize he's just doing it to like crap on us, like shit on us. You know, I'm trying not to curse anymore. You know, like when he made that highbrow Negro comment about how like we as the consumers of his content, we're just hating on him because we're highbrow. I felt like the scene with Fatima in particular, it was just him being like, okay, so to all of you who think that Fatima should leave Zach, this is your moment. I'm showing you that I've heard your complaints, but I don't care. And I know that Tyler Perry is not the one writing the majority of the script, but if you think that he ain't got a hand, you're not looking closely enough. Yes, the double talk is gone, right? The Tyler Perry signature play double talk is gone, but the essence of him is still there with the emptiness of the plot and the way that certain things could connect and don't, and there are now plot lines that don't connect and don't matter that are just left there so he can just add something onto it later to shock us as the audience. So he was talking to Fatima about, you know, how her relationship with Zach is pulling her under and she could do so much better, but here she is with somebody like Zach. And all I can think to myself is, did he lie I didn't like him this episode, but when he was talking to Fatima, he wasn't lying. Can we discuss that? Can we discuss how even a misogynista, how even he can see what's going on with Fatima? Also, for some reason, Fatima thought that Zach unalived Gary. And and he was like, but hurt, like, why do you gotta do that? Like, forget you, Zach. For me, right? You thought this jailbird unalived Gary, and you were just gonna cover it up. And one thing I hated about Fatima this episode was her like, how could you think I would do that? I have, she was acting like all highbrow in terms of like, I would never jeopardize my position by doing the things that you're saying. It's like, yes, you would. Your entire relationship with Zach is showing how you would jeopardize your integrity, your future, and everything that you're working towards for the D. What is wrong with you? You're not fooling me, girl. And apparently in Zatima, she's pregnant. Okay, but I'm just gonna sit here and believe that, you have so much standards. The only standards you have is that your man better not be ugly and the pipe better be laid right. That's the only standards I've ever seen you uphold, ma'am. And then, he can't be too much of a meanie. Zach's not a big meanie, unless it comes to Aaron a couple seasons ago. Whatever. Disgusts me. Now, for Danny and Tony, right? Danny has an introspective moment, writing in her journal. Poor me, no, I didn't think so. But they tried to bait y'all with her being like, it makes me consider my own trauma. And you want to know what she meant by that? Because Danny has actually gone through a lot in this show. So, what is she talking about? College? Like, we hope she's talking about college so we can hear some of the college tea. But then Tony walks in and she reverts back to old Danny, I guess some of you would say. Wants to roll up on him and ride on that surfboard. He doesn't want to do it. And they cut that short. I don't like them together. I don't care to see them together. It wasn't cute. I wasn't interested. All I could think of was, if Preston was doing this, you wouldn't have seen the use. But because Tony's the one who's doing this, even though you're not feeling the fact that he's rejecting you now, you're gonna see why he rejected you later. But even though I'm sure there have been moments when Preston was like, no, Danny, I can't send you to bed just yet. We need to talk about this. And you was always on him. It was one of his flaws, trying to get to know you, trying to be there for you. Why is he always there? But now Tony's always there. And this is the thing about girls, and this is not about the misogynoirist detectives. Forget them. I don't care about the good boy, bad boy thing, because that's a fallacy. I care about us deciding that certain behavior is okay only when the archetype we want is doing the behaviors. Preston was an excellent man for Danny, but because deep down she knew she didn't want him, and trust me, that hurts to say. I was hoping for the Beauty and the Beast storyline. I was hoping that she would have grown to love this man. We have to let that go, okay? Preston was doing a lot of this stuff even before Tony. The only thing that Preston wasn't doing was telling her to go get therapy because he couldn't. Danny would not have allowed him to literally tell her what to do in that kind of way. So there's all the stuff that she's taking from Tony that she wouldn't have taken from Preston, and I'm bitter about it. It just is what it is. Let's go on to Greener Pastures, which is like the best part of the episode. Ermagerd. Guys, I was about to give up on this episode. FBI Ninja and Andy were getting on my last nerves. And then they panned behind FBI Nick and oh my god. Robin strolls in looking like the cool before midnight. Walks right past FBI Nick. FBI Nick is like, who do you think you are? And he's like, Andy, don't say another word. Ooh, took charge of the whole room, changed the atmosphere, gave Andy a strong shoulder to be like, hey girl, I got you now, I'm here. Ooh, it's a little toxic, but mind you, there are toxic moments in these shows that I don't mind. I want to see Robin interact with Jordan. Oops, hold on, let me finish. Just the way he waltzed in. You know he got money. He got prestige. He got look. These guys were misogynoirist. When Robin came at Andy, he came at her after hearing facts. He didn't come after her with rumors. He came after her with facts. He was like, girl, why you sleeping around in this office? He didn't lie. But he said it in a rude way, and so Andy was like, no. Girl, get over it. You don't like the truth unless you feel like it's coming from a way you want to hear it. In life, you're never going to hear the truth the way you want to hear it every single time. So I'm glad he's back. I don't think that means going to be with Andy though. But I just like Robin for Robin now. I don't really care about him being with Andy. All these girls can slip off a cliff and he just recast them with a new generation for season 10. I don't care. But yeah, I was so happy to see him back. So happy. Down moment for Robin. But I'm not going to put that on him though. Because he was always last to the party when it came to how Andy was really feeling. In terms of like gauging it all the way. Because he knows what Andy wants deep down. But then she would always be late. Him sort of being like, I guess you want to know about the love of your life, Gary. And I'm like, nigga, you know she don't love that man. By the time that you was messing around with her, she did not care about that man. At all. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like this episode was successful in getting me to want to watch the next episode. Very much successful. I'm very, very happy about it. Just to talk about Gary, I guess, because this whole episode is about him. I was never under any delusions that Mr. Borders was unalived. Who thought Mr. Borders was unalived? In which universe? Let me know. I knew that they're going to bring him back because Tyloronius Perinius would never give me rest by allowing that man to actually pass away and to have like the next 4 episodes just be commemorating whatever he used to do on the show. He would never give me that level of peace. He would bring Robin back so I can shut my mouth up here and there. But he would never get rid of Gary. So I never thought that Gary was actually gone. When it comes to Jordan, he's just a misnomer. Rich is the lowest on the totem pole, so I don't really mind Jordan. But now that Robin's back, I'm just kind of like, be jealous, stay jealous, babes. Yeah. Nothing else much to talk about. Aaron was not here, thank God. I don't know what he would have done if he was here. But yeah. I'll see you guys in the very next episode next week. It was Sistas Saturday. And goodbye, my sires. Sue.